Language and Society by Janet Holmes and Nico Wilson.
What is social linguistics? Social linguistics is the study of how language and society influence or work each other. It explores how people speak differently depending on their social background, age, gender, or even region. For example, I'm talking to my professor like this. I'm gonna use formal conversation like, good morning, ma'am. May I ask if where can I pass this paper? Or, good morning, ma'am. May I clarify these things? Or, I'm gonna use a formal conversation because he or she is my professor. I cannot use informal conversation with her or him. But if I'm talking to my friends, I'm talking to my classmates, I'm just gonna use a informal conversation. Or that's how social linguistics works. It's the society and language work together. It depends on who are you talking with. It depends on the event. It depends on the place. That's how social linguistics works. Social factors and dimension. Our language choices are influenced by social factors such as who are we speaking to, where the conversation happens, what we are talking about, and why are we talking. So these are known as participant, setting, topic, or purpose. So these are the social factors and dimension of the language and society or the social linguistics. It depends, as what I've said, it depends on who are we talking to, who are we talking with, why are we talking, where are we talking, what are we talking about. It depends on the language, it depends on the manner, it depends on the respect, on it really depends on who are we talking with or where are we talking. Like, for example, I'm a lawyer. If I'm if I'm inside a court, I'm using the formal conversation such as what the lawyers are using, such as order in a court or good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna use that kind of conversation or language. But if I'm a lawyer and I'm just inside my room or I'm just in our house, of course, I'm gonna use an informal conversation. So that's the social factors and dimension.
Language choice in multilingual communities. Diglossia. Two language varieties, one for formal and one for informal use. Code switching. Shifting from one language to another in a conversation. Code mixing. Mixing elements of two languages in a single sentence.
Language maintenance means keeping a language actively used within a community. Language shift happens when people begin using another language more often, sometimes leading to language loss or death. Language maintenance is when a community keeps using and passing on its original language despite pressure to reach the dominant language. This preserves cultural identity and keeps the language alive. Language shift happens when people start using another language more, causing the original language to fade or die out. For example, Quebec maintains French by using it in schools and public life despite English influence. In contrast, many indigenous communities experience language shift as younger generations adopt dominant language like English. This show how communities either preserve or lost their language over time.
Linguistic varieties in multilingual nations. Vernacular used in daily life. The native or local language dialect often learned at home and used in informal, everyday conversation. It hasn't been standardized for official use. Example, a Filipino speaking Cebuano with neighbors in their hometown. Next is standard official form of language. The highly codified and accepted variety of language established for use in government, media, education, and formal writing. Example of this is Filipino based on Tagalog, used in school, textbooks, official government documents, or national news broadcasts. Lastly, we have lingua franca, a common language used for communication between people who speaks different native language. A bridge language used systematically to allow speakers with different mother tongues to communicate effectively, particularly in business, travels, or trade. Example for this one is a German and a Korean businessman using English to conduct a deal. Chavacana used in Zamboanga City among speakers of different local languages.
A Creole is a fully developed language that comes from Pidgin. A Pidgin starts a simple mix of language used by people who need to communicate but do not share a common tongue. When children begin to learn this Pidgin as their first language, they naturally add grammar, structure, and a wider vocabulary. Over time, the one simple Pidgins become a complete and natural language. Creoles are used in everyday life. Just like other language, they are spoken at home, in a community, and in school. One example is a Chavcano in Philippines, which developed from Spanish mixed with Filipino language, because generation grew up speaking it as their main tongue. It evolves into stable, rich, and fully functional Creole.